Welcome to modimakes.
Over the centuries, the symbols that we have used to represent peace have taken on many forms. Things like your culture, your location, and what era of geopolitics you live in all affect what iconography you associate with the idea of peace. The ancient Greeks used the likeness of the olive branch, the early Christians added the dove on top of it, and in the 60s during the Vietnam War, the Western counterculture started using the two-finger V sign, taking it from its original meaning of victory from World War II. Around this time, in the 1950s, one Gerald Holton created what might be the most iconic symbol of peace that we know today by superimposing the semaphore signals for N and D on top of each other, representing nuclear disarmament. This was then adopted by the hippie counterculture in the 60s and 70s and used as a broader symbol for peace. The reason I'm giving you this brief history lesson is to make a larger point about the use of symbols in general. All of these peace symbols are still in use and are instantly and ubiquitously recognizable today. Granted, two of them are from the last century, but the olive branch was in use as much as 2,500 years ago and is still in use to this day. That's how powerful this iconography can be, and that's exactly the type of thing that artists can exploit to do a little mental hacking. Propagandists can use these instantly recognizable symbols to convey complex dissertations of ideas in single images. Now, I have recently pivoted in both style and message with my art. I have decided that my project moving forward is going to be creating propaganda art that promotes joy, peace, and love. Seems like a noble enough cause. Using the tools of the oppressors and the aggressors to try to improve the lot of the average person. And because of this, I have been experimenting with how to use this symbolism in my own work. Now that's all well and good, my guy, but how exactly does this relate to what's happening today? Well, just as there are iconic symbols for peace, there are iconic symbols for chaos, violence, and destabilization. I submit for your review the Molotov cocktail. A visage that instantly conjures up images of rioting, burnt down buildings, and rubble. And I'm thinking just as the Vietnam vets took the victory V sign and turned it into an anti-war symbol, I'm gonna take the Molotov and make a painting that promotes peace. I'm hoping that you have a good idea of the angle I'm attacking from here now. As you can see, I'm using the Molotov as our big baddie, the great existential threat, our generic antagonist. And sort of like a classic David and Goliath style story, you might have noticed that we have our much smaller protagonist in the form of the Firefighter figure and their trusty Dalmatian companion. They valiantly fight the raging inferno of the giant Molotov cocktail as the bottle teeters on the edge of falling over and causing catastrophe. Yet this is all set on top of a clear blue sky with a couple white fluffy clouds lazily floating by in the background, giving the whole scene a sense of tranquility, as if this were all business as usual and there's nothing to worry about here. This is the plight of the blue-collar foundation of our society, calmly and nobly shouldering the burdens of all those who stand on top of them in the pyramid, quietly keeping the peace and lifting up their communities from the ground. So let's give them their even share of time in the spotlight of the camera, as this story is really all about them in the end. The bright lights of the fire may get your attention, but you really stay for the stories of the heroes involved. Peace can only exist on top of a strong, solid foundation. A foundation of people in all levels of society, actively working to improve the lives of everyone around them, including but not limited to themselves. Unfortunately, because people are human, this does take constant vigilance and a clear framework. If the system can be exploited, it will be, and we as a global society need to recognize that when it happens and take action before it's too late. It can be really easy to fall for defeatism when the world around you only seems to be ramping up in conflict, but what the governments don't really want you to know is that we the people, as the citizens of this global society, have all of the power and the sway. If all the average blue-collar heroes clearly outline what is and is not acceptable within our framework and actively enforce our demands on those we allow to have power, then the aristocracy cannot stop us. Just like they can't stop me from clearly outlining my painting with a beautiful framework of black line work to finish off this image. You're welcome for that definitely not at all shoehorned in transition. Man, the transitions are getting stranger and stranger on here. Eventually they're going to be more like a jump scare than an actual transition, but there's just something so satisfying about that hit, that hard cut hit when you do it just right. It's like popping your ears to relieve the pressure. Just, ah. Before we get to those good final shots for my peace propaganda poster painting, I wanted to pop in real quick and say thank you so much for watching this far. Gotta say it now, because if I say it after, you probably won't watch it, to be honest. Look, I'm a very small channel, so I can honestly say that I genuinely appreciate every single view. But if you're enjoying this video and you would like to help me not become a small channel anymore and actually get paid for all of this hard work, then do all the things. Like, subscribe, show this to people you think might dig it. Everything helps. Also, if you want to support me directly, I have a website, modimakes.com, link in the description, where you can pick up clothing and cards and prints of all sorts of paintings, including this painting that I made today. That'd be pretty cool. Anyways, let me know what you think of this painting down in the comments below. Be a force for good in this world, and here are those final shots.